process of making varies from piece to piece. Walking was a considerable undertaking. From the inception of the idea right through to the piece being finished probably took about 9 months. I think that the actual physical making of walking took somewhere in the region of 500 to maybe 600 hours of crafting. The idea came from looking out of my window to the bare branches of the trees with the low winter light. Also the idea of the trace lines of the human body while walking. I had created rectilinear pieces before, so the essence of angular was already in my work, but with walking I wanted to create something larger, a freestanding sculpture. I think a lot reassessing an idea before I start drawing. I may do many quick drawings, usually late at night, while I'm trying to visualise and distill what I believe will be the essence of the finished piece. And it's not unusual for me to do several of these quick sketches. With walking, there were many iterations. I was constantly revisiting its form, considering where I would and wouldn't illuminate. In most of my pieces, the illumination is all around the edges. But with walking, it's different because I selected key facets to light to emphasise a sense of movement.
Niamh, tell us about the new work that you're working on.
So I'm working on a couple of different pieces at the moment for an exhibition that's opening in a few months. One of them is a curvilinear piece, but what's different about this piece is that, unlike most of the rest of my work and the work that I'd be known for, the lines are variating. So this is actually, one of those types of pieces that you can see here in this piece that the width of the line varies as you follow the line around, and the piece that we're making for the next piece that we're making like that is going to be like that as well. You can see here in the maquette the way that the line flows in and out, and it just adds to the sense of movement and fluidity of the piece. The other thing that we're going to be doing with this is that the join points, unlike this piece here, which is typical of all of the pieces that I would be known for up until this point, these are going to be weld, merged, liquid, flowing from one line into the other. So I have just a welded sample of that here, where you can see that we'll be building up weld, building up weld, building up weld, and then we'll be working that away so that we have a soft flow, like a molten flow of liquid from one element into the other. The other thing that I'm considering with that new piece, and it's not until I actually have the form made and I'm looking at it here in the studio and it's hanging, I'm thinking about playing with the surface, because actually I'm making this in a heavier bronze than normal, which gives me more material to remove. So I'm thinking of possibly working into the material and either having a softer quality, and unlike this, which is very angular and very definite, or possibly like an undulating, almost hacked kind of quality. So it's still a work in progress, and with a lot of my work I'll know what the overall form is going to be, but it won't be until I'm actually in the making process that I kind of get to know the piece better, that I make those sort of final decisions about the finish and so on and so forth.
Gesture 2, which is being created for the National Museum of Ireland exhibition, Niamh, how did the whole concept evolve?
Well, as with its predecessor, Gesture 1, the whole idea of these pieces is to encapsulate in essence a moment of gesticulation, how people use their hands when they're talking, and I do it all the time. So it started with a series of rapid sketches, as most of my pieces do, which are really putting down in paper a thought that might be in my mind for some time. I work very quickly with the pen, just roughly capturing the essence of what I hope the piece will be, and the energy, particularly the energy of this piece here. And then once I've worked through a series of sketches and I feel like I've exercised that thought down into paper, I'll start working with pre-cut elements that I cut in bronze. I'll have a sense of the kinds of shapes and so on and so forth, obviously the rectilinear elements in this piece. So I'll have hundreds of these on my workbench, and I'll start sketching. So I'll start by making one maquette, and I'll remove an element, add an element, and tweak it, walk away, come back, and then finally I'll end up with a maquette such as this, where it's all connected, and the next stage from this point on is to take this and then transfer it into the 3D model, which we will then use to set about the actual crafting of the piece.